Hello friends and welcome back to another episode of the ISOCraft project. I'm Atomic Dave and today we're starting back up at the top of this tower because I really love the look of what we got done in this last episode. It's just fantastic. Really loving it. And I'm really keen to get this whole area starting to mirror what I've got going on in my mind. So today we're going to be spending some time terraforming, getting this space looking a bit more what it's supposed to, getting rid of some of those creeper holes. And I've done it again. There it is. Over there in the distance over there. Can you see it? There's a village. I want to take some time. I want to bring those villagers over into our sanctuary, into our bio-eco dome, get them nice and protected. And as a special treat for all my server mates, we've got some deliveries to make. I've got a special present for everybody. But we'll get onto that a bit later in the episode. Until then, let's head on down. Let's get started on a little bit of this terraforming. And without any further ado... Ow. I'm alright. Alright, without any further ado, let's get some terraforming happening. And just like that, we have run out of basalt. So let's have a quick wander around what we've done here. As you can see, we're putting up almost like a polished black stone retaining wall. In this area, I think we're going to set it up to be a bit of a dock, maybe for a quarry. And then down here, we've got a receiving bay for logs, and we might set up this space over here to have some maybe some market stalls, and we're going to bring life to this area. And it's the life in an area, the human element that we bring into an area that really tells the story of the base. And that's a lot of what your terraforming is going to do. And back here, we've got this ruined little pathway, and we might actually bring in a different block to really signify a pathway. Obviously, this central area, it's a bit more rugged, it's less of a pathway, and where it's flatter, it's more distinctly a pathway. And if we come back down around here, down through these little corridors, we've got this overgrown little area, and we've got our little squatter's tent or hut, whatever it is, and a little food pot going on. And these kinds of little details can really bring life to your builds if you take the time to do it. And it's not hard to do at all. It doesn't take long. And for the better part, I don't want to say block spamming, because it's not just throwing down blocks wherever. It's a little bit more precise than that, but it's not super precise like building a farm. And it's super easy to put in things like lighting, glowstone covered with just a bit of carpet, anything that really matches that base color palette that you've got going on, and it can be hidden really easily if it's being put next to something like a bush. I could possibly have a glowstone there. That would hide it really well, and or even the grass. And that's super handy. And unfortunately, we can't shear the tall grass. It can be found in Savannah Village chests, and the village that I want to go and liberate a little bit later in the episode, which we will do very soon. I believe that those chests do have some tall grass in it, and I'm going to pinch that, and I'm going to use that in some of these areas to give the overgrown feeling a bit more height. And as you can see here, I've still maintained my drop down into my underground base, and I've sort of signified that with the lampposts, which I'm not 100% happy with them yet. We will come back to that. I need to have a think about that. I think I want the brighter lanterns on top as well. But also next to the water, the bubble vader, I've put some mossy cobble, it gives a feeling of time. And that feeling of time passing and everything is really important to bringing character to your builds. I will do all of the water. The water will have different levels as well, because over here where I've put these fence posts, the stone fence posts, I'm actually going to build a crane for, I think they're called a skiff, a flat bottom barge, for unloading that. And then we've got the logs there for that notion of this has been delivered and it's been tied down into this area. We might even experiment playing with putting that on a wagon, but that's not for right now. For right now, we are going to head over to the shopping district and try and get our hands on a little bit more basalt. So I'll see you on the other end of that. And there we go. Another full shulker of basalt is going to take us a very long way. But I noticed. I want to check out. Oh, I want to check out this shop. This closed for maintenance. I believe this is roulette. Yeah, it's roulette. I'm going to have to come back when this is working. This is going to be a place where I lose all my diamonds, I think. close for maintenance. Huh. Alrighty friends, we are back and we have put together the bug out box that is going to be our little gift to everybody. And it's got flares and it's got food and water and healing potions and a weapon and ammunition and a fishing bucket and breathing apparatus and a radiation suit and protective boots and campfire and a lighter and a source of light and a bed and cookies, because, you know, at the end of the world, you're not really caring about your weight. You just want something that is going to get you happy. And the end of days book. And let's have a quick look at what I've written here. Hello, neighbor. I have prepared this bug out box for you in case of the apocalypse. Now you too, along with your other neighbors, have the basic means of survival in a world beyond disaster. Wishing you a safe and happy end of the world. Atomic Dave. And I have got one of those for almost everybody that's highly active on the server. So let's go secure ourselves some neighbors for the foreseeable future and through into the end of days. Survivor's Log. Entry 3. It seems I've become a doomsday prophet, complete with foreboding picket sign. But today I refuse to let fear of what may be take hold of me, and instead I am being proactive and leaving my neighbours some means to survive in case of an apocalyptic event that could end life as we know it. One by one I visited the elaborate buildings of my neighbours. Some already sadly abandoned, left forevermore in stasis of what they could have been. Others in their infancy, showing only a glimmer of what the future could hold. And some, further still, immense and magical, showing grandeur and opulence, leaving me to wonder what would happen to them when the end finally came. One thing was certain, each was truly unique, and I stayed to explore and admire, often losing time as I was swept away by the creativity the builders showed. But I was on a mission. All of us are linked through the hellish nether dimension, and we have developed rudimentary roads above the lava-drenched landscapes. And one by one, I entered portals, some simple, some wildly elaborate, to deliver the bug-out boxes that I had created as gifts. One thing was very evident on my travels. While everyone took on projects that were massive in scale, everyone was creating comfort, something I had yet to concern myself with. My primary focus had always been safety. Some of those that I visited clearly were preparing for in a similar fashion to me, with great protective domes or water curtains to shield from radiation. Others, it would seem, built with pure imagination, delightful creations that left a person in awe and inspired by their beautiful chaos. It was intoxicating, and I found myself almost mesmerized, having to pull myself away to continue my quest. Even in the nether, their portals were beckoning me to return. My task was not a swift one, and day and night passed as I continued to travel from neighbour to neighbour. I had to keep reminding myself that I was on a schedule, and every moment spent exploring was a moment spent not preparing, and soon enough, fear started to grip me again. Fear that I wouldn't be ready when the inevitable end came. Fortunately, though, I was nearing the end of my route. And at my final neighbour, I took the time, in their grand simplicity, to slow down and relax,
admiring the cool tones in which they built, complemented by the explosion of colour from the trees in their courtyard. It was here that I knew I had to take the time to bring some colour and decoration to my home, and make it more of a home, and not just a place to survive. So I farewelled the last of my neighbours that I had a gift for, and made my way to the local native village. One thing is certain with the natives. They are not even slightly interested in the notion of being taken to a place of safety. They actively ignored my attempts to ensure their safety, causing me no end of frustrations. But my persistence paid off, and through some subtle manipulation, one by one, I was able to coerce them into a portal to the Nether, a means of faster travel back to my safety of my lands. It was a grueling effort, but soon they became accustomed to my presence, and were more trusting to travel where I was directing them. Although some most definitely took one look at the Hell Dimension and rushed back out to the overworld, needing further convincing that it was truly the safer way to go. In time, there was only one of the natives remaining, and enough trust had been built that he showed he was willing to follow me directly to the transport system and into the Nether, where I had created a very temporary shelter for them to wait until I was able to build them a new place to call home. End Survivor's Log.
Back at the base now, and after visiting everybody, I realized that I need to get a move on with building. Have a look at all this. I've got all this wonderful, fantastic space. It's just empty. And I'm filling it with some character down here with some of the terraforming and the landscaping decoration. And obviously you can tell that this area is kind of dark and dingy, and this is going to be a very industrial area. Lots of this sort of thing going on. And this has been quite a lot of just basalt spam. So what I thought maybe I can do, and rather than using a time lapse, because I do a lot of time lapses, I thought maybe we can quickly do a bit of building together here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to make this water-based crane for unloading the flat-bottom barges, or I'm pretty sure they're called skiffs. I probably should look that up before I keep calling them that. And I've just got a few bits and pieces, some dark oak logs, some spruce, some things, but let's just get to working on this, putting this one together, and see how we go doing that. And what you can see, I've done a bit of what I've done a little bit of under here, which you can notice from the top here. I've put in some of the new soul soil, and I think it makes a really good mud for underneath the water. I think it brings a lot more character than the dirt does. I think it gives a much better underwater texture. So I'm going to be doing quite a bit of course, with soul speed. It just sends you into insane mode when you're on it. But I'm going to do pretty much this whole waterlogged area is going to get a bit of a makeover with some more of the basalt and lots of that soul soil. I think that's something that's really important to remember in your builds. There are no rules. It's what you want it to be and how you want it to look. So it makes it a lot more interesting. Means that you can add a lot more interest into your builds, because you're playing by your own rules, you're playing by your own imagination, and nobody can really tell you what you should be imagining your build to be. And I think that's just one of the best parts of Minecraft, in my opinion. Endless building, no rules. Make it how you want. Is it realistic? No. Does it have to be? Who cares? Trying to get a good angle on this thing's kind of tricky with everything that's going on. I think that that's going to be the build finished. I might change those dark oak slabs out for some spruce slabs, lighten the build up a little bit so that it's not quite as dark against the dark background. But there's still a lot of other stuff that's got to do, and outside of our industrial area is going to be really bright and vibrant. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. And if it is something that I do, I'll do it off camera anyway. But sadly, friends, that's going to bring us to the end of our time together this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Do hit that thumbs up button to show me your support. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until we next get to game together, be epic every day. This has been Atomic Dave. I'm out. See ya.